how would you like to make your first million? And today we have Roberto joining from Los Angeles, LA, and he is the CEO of the digital marketing agency. So, Roberto, tell us what are the 5 steps that you recommend entrepreneurs out there to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Well, Harry, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me here. I'm very ecstatic to be here with y'all.
Pleasure.
And just to talk, of course, just to talk a little bit about how to become a millionaire. The first thing is market fit. Understanding if your product or service has a fit is extremely important. It's really difficult to sell something that people are already selling or to do something that other people are already doing. So understanding your market fit will be the first thing I recommend any entrepreneur that's starting off so that you could rocket your growth. And once you identify that market fit, the second step is extremely important, is to test out your product in that market. How do we do that? Rapid prototyping, A/B testing, getting in there, getting your customers to play with your product, to break your product, and then learning from that experience. We called it pivot. In the past, we used to call it making mistakes, but now we call it pivoting. And so, isn't it true, Henry?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
So yeah, understanding that market fit. Second thing, test out the product or service. And the third thing is extremely important, probably the most important piece once you identify the product or service and test it on the market. Listen to your customers. It's so important to listen and understand why they love your product and why they don't love your product. Those 3 things are going to expedite your growth if you do them well. The fourth is the marketing and the branding. Okay, we understand what the product is. We think there's a fit in the market. We talk to our customers and we listen to them. Now it's time to jet fuel that growth by developing out your go-to-market strategy. And that's content marketing. Harry, you know it better than anyone. You have an amazing podcast. Creating sticky content, getting and promoting your product or service where your customer is, understanding how much it costs to acquire a customer, and then the 3 P's, friends, the 3 F's, friends, families, and fools to help you grow that company by marketing and acquiring new customers. By then, you should know, it's going to cost me 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 to get to a million. And that's when we understand the market fit. We understand how much it costs to acquire a customer. Now, for us, it's time to protect our market by differentiating ourselves from the marketplace, by telling people this is why my company is different from everyone else's and why you should still keep growing with me. And that's all around creating a moat around your business so that people understand why you're different and unique. And that's going to help you build your brand so that when you're not in the room, everyone talks about your product and your service.
That's brilliant, Roberto. And first-time founders love the product, and I think that this is the biggest problem that we have with entrepreneurs when they start in the business, that they love the product so much that they think that the product is going to go out and sell by itself. Yeah. And then they take all the money from the remortgage their house. They take all the money for friends and family, and they create this amazing product that is going to change the world. And after they run out of money and they cannot sell it, and they have this amazing product that they thought was going to change the world, then they come into you, Roberto, with no funds, no resources, and say, Roberto, help me. So what message do you have for these and for the entrepreneurs, for the founders that, okay, if I give you $100 to you, Roberto, today, how much money you're going to put in product development and how much money you're going to put in marketing and sales? So first-time founders have an idea how to use resources effectively, because it's having a good product is just a very small piece of the equation, right?
I completely agree. A lot of the times, think about us as consumers. We buy products that aren't that great, but because they do so much marketing and brand development, We think it's amazing, but we know there's other better products in the marketplace. There's two things that I live by when it comes to getting my business started and scaling my business. The first one is called OPM. What is OPM? Other people's money. And so, what do we mean by this? We have to identify people in our network, in our ecosystem, who are willing to let us borrow money at a low interest rate or give us money for a percentage of our company, which is VC funding. And you use that money to start your company. Now, we understand we might not have those networks. So then start small, rapid prototyping. So, what do I mean by that? We have a product. There's no shame in this game because we are mission driven. So, what do? We test out the product and free platforms like Facebook Marketplace. Try to sell that product in Facebook Marketplace. Try to sell that product on TikTok. Try to sell that product on Etsy, on Pinterest. There's a lot of free marketplaces where you can sell your product to see if people actually like it. So you're not burning through your capital, which is extremely important. Now, I went to school, not that school is important, but they teach you unit economics. What's the lifetime value of my customer? What's the customer acquisition cost? That's important. That's extremely important. But if the customer loves your product or not. And so listening to why they bought it from you and talking to them once they buy it from you is going to help you market that product better in those channels. And then we have a little bit of money to play with. Okay, now we run advertising. Now we do paid ads. Now we go and do Facebook, Google, Instagram, and run ads to increase the amount of customers that are coming into our funnel.
Yeah. But and then Roberto, still with the distribution of funds, the entrepreneur needs to know that the products, okay, out of the 500 millionaires that we have interviewed in this podcast, I haven't found anybody yet that told me, Harry, the product, how I designed it, I sold it like this, and it was amazing. I make a lot of money. I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me this. It doesn't really work this way. You design, like you're talking, a prototype, something that we call MVP, minimum viable product, but somehow the entrepreneurs out there, they are forgetting this word in the beginning, minimum viable product. And what they do is they put all the money, energy in creating an amazing product, and then they are taking the resources, creating an amazing product, and these resources should be used exactly what you described, to go out and test and to show to the market if they want to buy this product in that form. Because if you have low resources and you don't use the resources effectively, because you're creating the product that you think that will solve the problem, but because you're creating the product, you're not the buyer. You don't know how the market is want to buy the product, right? And this is where things start to go sour, and that's why we have this huge rate of 90% of companies failing after 2 years, because exactly in this part where the entrepreneur need to understand that they need to find somebody like you or someone with the marketing expertise that is able at least to guide them and show them few ways. Could be free, could be, because anyway, even if you don't have money, you have time. Again, you have to manage your time. How much time you're gonna put in showing your product to people, and how much time you're gonna put in developing the product. Let's suppose that you have money. The problem is still the same. How you distribute your time or your resources, because if you don't do it in a way that is sustainable, that makes sense, then there is no way that you're gonna get the product market fit, because taking the product to the market is not cheap. It is cost money. I mean, to get a consultant like you, I presume this is something that costs money. So you need to have resources to find someone to help you. And if you take all this money to develop the product, then you're gonna end up with a lovely product in your bedroom. So we have like I said, it's out of the experience, because I have a lot of startup founders in several industries, including tech, and we find the problem again and again and again and again and again and again. It's like a how can I explain to you? It's like a disease, a viral disease that we find in startup founders, that again and again they are trapped in the product. They love the product so much, and they don't understand that this product is just a prototype, and you are an stranger that you need to show your extended product to a group of strangers, and you need qualified people that guide you to this process. And this is definitely is you need to allocate resources for that. So, what's your view on this?
No, I mean, Harry, you said so many important things in the span of a minute. MVP, extremely important. Understanding market fit with your MVP, listening to the consumer so you could adapt and adopt that MVP. You know, our journey as entrepreneurs, we love what we do. We're mission driven. The money is great. Don't get me wrong. Being a millionaire is great, but it's just we're living our purpose. We know why we do it. So we get really attached to our product. It becomes our baby. But you have to let the baby grow up and you have to let the market tell you what the baby's going to become. And so I love the story of Airbnb, right? We have this amazing company now, but 10, 15 years ago, they didn't have a market fit. And so they had a lot of adopters, early adopters, which is extremely important when you're testing out your MVP to talk to the people who are using it
Mhm.
first. And so the story goes that the founder realized that they have a big marketplace in New York, but they were wondering, like, why is New York the marketplace for us and how are they using the product? And their consultant, someone like you or me, Harry, told the founders, go fly to New York and see how the customer's using the product. So they flew to New York. They're going into these houses and they're seeing how the customer's using the product. These are people who are renting out their space. And the customer does not know how to operate the system when they're uploading pictures, when they're working on their computer to set up their profile. And the engineer founder is saying, no, 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 you're doing it wrong. That's not how you set up your profile. What are you doing? Don't upload that picture. And the customer's looking at them and is like, you're silly. I'm the customer, not you. Why didn't you build it
Wow,
for me?
the
Exactly.
great
You
story,
need to
eh?
build, boom. Like, and he realized we build it for ourselves. We didn't build it for the customer. And so that story really encapsulates the importance of being there, seeing how your customer plays with the product or service, seeing what their pain point truly is and how you're fixing that pain point. And then adopting and adapting a very, very rapid prototype so that you could get it back into the marketplace. And when it comes to software, it's called sprints. When it comes to services, it's adapting what the pain point is and communicating that pain point in a way that makes the customer say, yes, that's my pain point. This is how I want to use your product. And then the third piece you touched on is once you have that, having enough money to get it back into the marketplace, to test it out again. Listen, test, come back. Listen, test, come back. Rebuild, rebuild, rebuild until you find enough people so it's sustainable for you. I love it, Harry.
So, Roberto, tell us, what are your biggest challenge as an entrepreneur and how you become that challenge growing your business?
I think we entrepreneurs see problems as opportunities. That's why we are where we're sitting at here, Harry. We understand that when there's a problem, there's money to be made, right? Oh, there's a problem. Let me fix that problem. So we are always seeing opportunities. Still no.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yes. So it's an opportunity and it's a threat. For those of us who are entrepreneurs, our biggest threat as a company was the global pandemic. Everything shut down.
Wow, big
We
challenge,
had
yeah?
a huge challenge, and everyone who's been in your show knows how big of a challenge that was. We had to shrink our workforce by 40%. But within that challenge, there was an opportunity. Guess what? Everyone has to move to online now. What are we? We're a marketing agency. Opportunity. And so what did we do? We created a program for different cities to help the city get the small business to get online, to have a website, to
Wow.
have a social media presence, to develop branding so they could communicate and sell online. So while we shrank our company, we started getting more and more contracts to help businesses get online through foundations, through cities, through governments, something we've never done before the pandemic. And now it's 60% of our revenue. So that threat
Wow.
became an opportunity. Yes, and it's growing.
Wow, congratulations, Roberto. Yeah,
Thank you.
but there is yeah, and I understand how why large percent of the portfolio shrink in COVID time is because sometimes again entrepreneurs make the wrong assumption that, oh, there is a crisis, let me cut the marketing budget. and because they see marketing an expense, and marketing is not an expense, marketing is an investment. You put $2 to get you in front of your client, but if your client buy your product for 20,
Mhm.
it's no problem to invest these $2 to get you in front of the client. But if you don't have the $2, you're not in front of the client. If you're not in front of the client, you sell zero. And when crisis came, everybody thought that was a good idea to cut the budget in marketing. And I'm thinking these people are crazy because these Facebooks, all these pay-per-click things, they go by bidding. So you have less people, it's even cheaper. So
Mhm.
rather than cut the advertising, they should put the foot on the gas. So what is your view in this behavior? Because even large company took this decision, very poor, my opinion, to decrease their online marketing budget, rather than realize that this, like exactly as you said, rather than a problem, was literally an opportunity to gain market share. So why everybody
And
behaving like this? Why you lose 60% of your portfolio when in fact it should actually increase more, because what I'm describing you, if everybody is not investing in digital marketing at that moment that everything is going online, and
yeah, no,
people took the wrong direction, and then even look at you, you have to pivot and start to offer another service. So what's wrong with people? What do you think that people, why people behave like this?
yeah, it's very, to me, it's very basic. I can't feed myself. I can't eat. So if it's between client, because when you advertise, there's a lag, especially on the service sector, right? We call this the sales cycle. And so the sales cycle might go from a product is very quick. It might be a couple days to a week to an hour. Like you put the product out, people like it, they buy it immediately. For services, the sales cycle is a little bit longer. It might be a month, might be 3 months, might be 6 months. And so they're starving. They need to eat now. And so they're making an informed calculation for the present, not for the
Mm-hmm.
medium to long
I
term.
agree
And that ends up
100%.
hurting them. So, Harry, what we needed to do is be fortune tellers and say, hey, I know in the future you're going to need to eat. In the future, not now. And we understand. Let's identify some market, a new market for you, and run these numbers for you so you feel comfortable with advertising. Sometimes, especially in my space, the barrier to enter digital marketing space is very simple. Anyone can say, I'm a marketer. And so it's really tough. What makes it different from our standpoint is that we have to demonstrate value very quickly. And so what do? We back into that conversation of how do we bring revenue to you? Very simple. You spend $1, you get $3 back. Let me show you how this is done.
Simple
Let
to
me show you
understand.
how and that's exactly right. So what's my cost to acquire a customer? It might be $10, but that customer pays out over the lifetime of using your service or your product $150. So we have to invest a little. You guys remember Uber and Lyft in 10, 15 years ago? They used to give you these little promo codes, right? $10 off, $15 off, $20 off. Why were they doing that? Because they knew the moment you use that code, you're going to have that app on the phone and you're going to use it again and again and again. So they were fine with investing up front on advertising dollars to acquire you for 20.
Clients.
How cheap that is. $20 to acquire one customer. And how many times have we used Uber since then? Oh, forget about it. Uber probably has thousands of
And how
dollars a
many
month.
referrals they got? How many
Yes,
referrals they got out of this?
yes. No, and that's it. So being creative in the way, and us as marketers being able to communicate, hey, we have to be more creative now that there's a tighter budget. Let's identify what we need to do to survive today and then build the pipeline for medium and long-term growth so that we manage this transition across COVID. And so that's what we were able to do. But a lot of companies were not able to do that. And we understand that. We get it. We're going through the same transition right now with our current climate, global climate of talks of a recession. It's a great opportunity for some of us that see that as a way of helping our other entrepreneurs grow and scale. Hey, there's a recession. Here's what we need to do now before it hits. And
Mhm.
so that's a great conversation starter because there's a lot of urgency.
Yeah. So, and then Roberto, why you decide to become an entrepreneur in the first place? And why do
That's a
you
great
choose
question, Harry.
marketing?
No, so funny story. I didn't start it. I started in economic development. Like, how do I help my community? I'm a community guy. I want to help entrepreneurs. I want to help small business. That's what I'm known for in my marketplace. And I started thinking, oh, I do it through government. Think about how crazy that sounded. I was a kid. I didn't know any better.
Mm.
I went back, I got my degree, and I started working with these amazing big companies, Johnson and Johnson, Hitachi, Uber. But guess what? My mom was an entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur. My aunts and uncles were
Wow.
entrepreneurs.
Wow.
And they told me, Roberto, we don't know how to use digital marketing. And I had to think that I was like, what do I care more about? A Johnson and Johnson that doesn't need me, that has a bazillion dollars, or my small business community that doesn't
Wow.
know how to use digital marketing.
Really powerful
So
stuff.
so I left New York. I came back to LA, and I said, let me start my company that helps small businesses. Now, I had an amazing program called the LBAN. It's a Stanford program for small businesses that want to grow and scale, that make over $1 million. So we were very blessed to have amazing people like you, Harry, consultants that are telling us what to do. And they said, Roberto, we get it. We understand that you want to help your small business, but you're giving away $900. 1 hour that Hitachi pays you is $1,000. 1 hour that the small businesses pay you is $100. How are you going to grow? And I said, if there's a problem, there's a solution to that problem. I'm going to connect technology with that small business owner, and I'm going to
Wow.
leverage that technology so they could pay for the small business. So we partner with Amazon. We partner with Google. We
Mm.
partner with TikTok, and they pay us to help out our small business. And that's how we've been able to grow.
Wow, that's an amazing story. And the most important is that actually you dig in deep in your community, because at the end of the day, I think that you took a very good decision, because imagine now you incorporate America now in a golden cage where one day I'm gonna come and tell you, look, you're fired, and now you're there with certain age and you only know how to do one thing. Because the good thing
Yes.
about us at the moment is that, if we need to find a job, we don't even know what to put. Because we know about sales, about marketing, about growing a business, about this. So if we go
No,
out there and we try to find a job, we all the skills that we have developed as an entrepreneur, I make us more employable than anybody in the planet. And we don't
Harry,
actually need it
transferable
because we
skill
can create.
sets.
Yeah, we
That's
can.
right. That's right. Those transferable skill sets pay for themselves. We're learning. We're our sales hat, marketing hat, operations hat. We can work in any corporation because we
Mhm.
are agile and can do it a little bit all, and we definitely can specialize. So we definitely specialize on digitizing and using technology to grow the company. We've seen some amazing stories. Companies make 40% increase in revenue when they work with us, especially on the product side. And so we're very excited about that piece because we know when the business grows, they hire more, they invest more in their local community. They are bigger taxpayers now, and they're inspiring their local
Mhm.
community to say, "Hey,
Mhm.
join me, start your own company. Let's become this amazing entrepreneurial ecosystem," which is one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you. I love
Mhm.
the mission that you have.
Thank you, thank you. And social responsibility. This is something that from this broadcast, we want all the entrepreneurs to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. But also, we talk a lot about social responsibility, right? And again, look at you. You have made a huge difference in your community, in the entrepreneurs in your community, right? And yeah, this big corporation, if you're there or you're not there, I don't think that the impact in the world is going to be so big. But you going down and actually share your expertise with these founders, small restaurant owner, a small these entrepreneurs from for the Latin American community, that some of them they just know how to cook an amazing food, and they are in the park selling, I don't know, an amazing arepas or an amazing
Mhm.
Latin American food, but they don't have the basic knowledge of how to operate this as a business. And then you go, you sit with that person, you give a little bit of tips, you nurture this person, and I don't know, after 1 year, you see this person is not in the park anymore. It's in a restaurant, in a brick and mortar, in a location, and it's a sense of fulfillment, right? That
And Harry,
guide a small business owner, right?
you just nailed it. So that's the thing. Entrepreneurs are unique. We are a unique type of person, type of individual. We're mission driven. We understand we need to feed our family, but we believe in why we do what we do. And I love example of the repa, of the restaurant owner, of the Indian restaurant owner. And guess what ends up happening? Once they learn that people love their product, hey, have you thought about packaging your product? Have you thought about creating instant meals for your product, for your, and they're like, no, I never thought. I'm like, yeah, people love your product. Let's get it on Target. Let's get it on
Let's
Costco.
get it
Let's get it into the
online.
grocery.
Let's get
Let's get
online.
it
Let me give you
online.
an
That's right.
e-commerce,
Exactly.
and they
And now
also
their
can
world
grow, right?
opens up. That's
And they
exactly
can
it. And
grow.
they're, yes. And that's the beauty. Their eyes open up and they're like, I never thought about the globe as my marketplace. And then like, yeah, people love your food. Let's get it to as many mouths as possible. So yes, I completely agree with you, Harry.
Yeah, like I said, from this broadcast, we all we do all day long is try to share amazing experience like yours here, and to try to share with the entrepreneurs what kind of things they could be doing, because entrepreneurs, we take more responsibility than anybody else out there. We have employees. Sometimes the people, the family of this employee depend on you, because he's the only person that can have work at the house or whatever. So we take a lot of responsibility, and as entrepreneurs, and starting a business, you have to acquire a lot of skills, and if you don't have them, uh, nobody had them at the beginning, so it becomes a roller coaster. You have to start to wear all those hats, and learn by doing, and it's a process that is not for everybody, and it's tough. But on the other hand, sometimes I'm seeing was in Spain not long ago, and I saw someone with a tiny business, yeah, that have it for 20, 30 years, and it's okay.
Mm,
The person have this tiny business, but I'm speaking with the entrepreneur, and it was actually from South America, and he was selling mobile phones, and the guy was
mm.
telling me, Harry, I've been in this business since the mobile phone was huge, and black and white. And the guy talked to me about, he was from Peru. He's from Peru, talking about the story, about how many years he's in the mobile phone business, and still his shop is tiny. And I kind of thinking, I'm like, wow, this guy with all this knowledge, yeah, and somehow has spent all his life in this tiny business. And I can tell that by the knowledge and the experience that this person have, easily he can have 50 stores, a
Mhm, mhm,
hundred, a hundred.
mhm.
He was a person capable. He was a person with experience, person that understand the product and the market very well. Because sometimes, Roberto, if this incubator, if this person doesn't come and nurture this startup founder, because they don't know any better, and they have some limited beliefs, something that actually an amazing life. I don't say that this guy have a bad life, but I would say that he could he could make way more than what he actually achieved, just with a little bit of guidance, because it's not someone that you have, just with a little bit of guidance, a little bit of a strategy. So in our community, this is the Latin American community out there, we have people that that emigrate from the countries, and they want to prove themselves, but they come here to work, and only with the small guidance, with the small framework, these people can hit and home run 100%. So,
Yes,
I'm
I
glad
love that
that
story, Harry.
yeah. So I'm glad that this is what you do. Yeah, that you get involved with the community, and we do work a lot with the Latin American Chamber of Commerce in London. Uh, to try to do workshops, to to give them more strategy groups, and in order to share with them what is possible. And those events have been very successful actually, and a lot of people learn. And also it's amazing because lots of them have food products, so they bring a lot of food. So I eat amazing every time that I do this event because there's Harry, try my pro, and there is a lot of cakes and Latin American food. So it's amazing this workshop that we do for the community. So Roberto,
Yeah,
so where do you get this sense of social responsibility? Because at the end of the day, if you help the people from your community and they grow the business, number one, they can have a better life. Number two, they can go out and help other people. They can say, well, because Roberto helped me when I didn't know, and now I grow my business. Now, maybe Roberto is busy now with bigger clients, and but now I can help another person and give them some tips.
Harry,
So it's about
what you're
creating that
doing is,
momentum, right?
yeah, I mean, what you're doing is creating an ecosystem. I believe in ecosystems. No one gets here alone. No one. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. I don't care how bright you are. No one gets here alone. So creating community as an entrepreneurial individual is important for us. And we have to come together, talk to each other. How did you do this? How did you do that? How did you sell here? How did you find that niche? Which tool did you use? Just being around people like us, because let me tell you something, Harry. Entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey. You're spending a lot of time with yourself. You're putting in long hours. You're working on the weekends. We're sacrificing our time with our family, our kids to grow the company. So it's a big sacrifice. And a lot of people don't get that pain. I lived it. I seen my parents and I saw how much they struggle as immigrants. But it was my job to say, hey, let's help you guys because there's other people like you out in the world. And if I help you, then maybe other people will be inspired to help other people as well. And that's how we grow. I didn't get here alone. I have amazing champions that are supporting me, that are talking about my company, that are giving me the opportunities to make those 6 figure, 7 figure sales. And so it is through that community building that we grow as an entrepreneurial network. That's extremely important. And you were talking about chambers of commerce are a great way to socialize. Online entrepreneurship groups are a great way to socialize because we have to learn from each other. And you might think, well, my product is not like theirs. It doesn't matter. You said it earlier. We can do multiple things. And what you do is you learn from their particular product and you're like, how could I take what he did and learn from their mistake that they're telling me because we trust each other and not make the same mistake. Oh, who do you work for accounting? Who's your accountant? Who's your CPA? What marketing agency do you recommend? Oh, you have a great sales team in Latin America that costs, 5 pounds as opposed to 20 pounds over here. Let me go work with that sales team. And so that slowly builds up your ability to grow and scale. And so that's where I get my social responsibility from. It's doing good, and by doing good, you do well, right? Because I help you, Harry, you're going to help me in the future, or you might help someone like me in the future, and then that person's going to help someone else. And we collectively, as a community of entrepreneurs, help each other grow and scale. So
Yeah, 100%. We
it,
can make
it
money
comes
and do
back.
good at the same time.
That's exactly right. Let's buy from each other and work with each other.
Exactly, exactly. So Roberto, and where do you get this inspiration, this sense of social responsibility that you say, well, this is a tough decision actually, that you can be making a lot of money in the corporate, and then you decide that rather than doing that, you're gonna see all the small business owner in your family, and you're gonna help them a little bit with some digital marketing and
Marketing.
everything, so they can grow, and also, and by trying to help them, you actually create the foundation to make a business for yourself. Trying to help others, at the end, it was a big help for you. And this is
Harry,
my life.
that's it.
This is the story of my life. The people ask me, Harry, help me. Okay, what can I help you? No, yeah, help me
Yes,
with this,
yes.
help me with this. So they'll go there and help and help and help and help. And then after the month, I'm thinking, wow, I was trying to help this person, and look how much business I got just trying to help it. And and think that's, like I said, the story of my life. So finally, you go out try to help them, and because you are in this space, in this frequency, a lot of
Opportunity
people
finds you.
opportunity find you. Absolutely,
Yes.
comes actually to you. Yeah.
Yes, and so that's the thing. When you live with purpose, with your mission, we talked about market fit, right? We talked about in the very beginning, making sure your product fits the market. But you are the one that dictates the mission, vision, and value of your product. Why? What is your why? You know, that's a very famous book, Start With Why. We all know why we started our companies. We all know why we're doing this. And so when people meet you, they feel it. We make decisions on emotions. Don't get it wrong. Like we could talk about customer acquisition costs, we could talk about lifetime value, but the reason we want to work with you is because we trust you, because we like you, because we believe in you, and we want to share your belief as well, and we want to be attached to something bigger than us. So it's very emotional as entrepreneurs. Even though we go with numbers, we know why. Hey, that person, they get it. They're mission driven. I want to work with that person. He seems to want to make me a better person, make my company succeed. I trust him. And if I open up my checkbook and give him money, I know he's going to spend it well to help me grow and help other people grow. So that's where we started from as well. And guess what ends up happening? You know, we started talking about, hey, we're going to focus on small business. We're going to digitize small business. And I'm talking in Stanford and I'm saying, hey, you know, this is our mission. We're going to help small business and we're going to digitize as many small businesses as possible. And there was a Google representative in the audience. She pulls me to the side. She says, Roberto, I love your mission. We're launching a program to help small businesses who are mom and pop digitize. And you believe in that mission and we want to work with you. You know, 2 years later, Amazon, hey, Robert, we heard that you're great with small businesses, helping them sell on e-commerce platforms. We want to work with you. 2 years later, hey, Robert, we're TikTok. We love selling products online. We heard you're really good at that and you love small business. So, because I live my mission of helping small business, yes, it's really hard to work with small business. We understand that. And they might not have the money, but there's all the ways to helping them. I just got off a call today at 6 o'clock in the morning with Aflac. It's a health company. And they're saying, hey, we heard you're great at small business. Let's create a program to help our small business be more economically sound. And why did I didn't look for them? Other people talked about me because I'm helping them, and they say, "Oh, you want to talk about digitizing small business and getting businesses online? Talk to Roberto. He knows how to do that. He's worked with a ton of great companies that help people get online." And so that's how and why we do what we do. But it starts with your why. Harry, you have an amazing platform here. You have an amazing podcast. People that touch you feel that you're passionate about what you do, and that creates trust. I
Mm,
trust you, Harry. Help me
mm,
start my company, help me scale my company, help me get to a 1 million pounds because I trust that you know how to do this and you've done this before. And more importantly, other people around me are
mm.
telling me, oh, yeah, Harry's the guy. Go talk to him.
Yeah. So that's amazing. Thank you so much, Roberto. So Roberto, why what are the biggest uh, as an entrepreneur, yeah, as what we call a community leader, yeah, what is the biggest fulfillment that you have received? I'm sharing this because I remember one day we went to not long ago, well, before COVID, we were doing a speaking
Yeah.
tour in Peru, and I was
Hmm.
telling to the promoter, we want to speak for the people, and we usually do it in Singapore and Dubai, but with this time we're in Latin America, and we have to train a lot of hotels and banks and things like this, doing corporate training. But I was telling to the promoters, I want one talk that is for charity for the people, and they say that no, Harry, let's train the Marriott. We make more money. And I said,
Yes.
no, no, no. Just one day for us, just for the people. And so they put up over 500 women there in that venue. It was a charity talk. And what happened? These women there, they call it the moms of the glass of milk. So in Peru, if a kid doesn't have resources to drink milk, those moms, the community leaders, they collect this powdered milk, and they give it to this kid to the kids in the neighborhood every single day. So
Wow.
we end up with a room full of community leaders. And what a better audience. Can you imagine the impact you can have with these women in the audience, that despite that they have jobs, despite that they have their own children, despite they need to look after the family, they still making sure that the kids in the neighborhood, um, they were doing
Are
that
fed. Yeah.
voluntarily, and they're fed. So you, I remember this is the talk that we didn't catch anything, and it was the most rewarding for me in terms of I got paid more than in the rest of the talk. I got paid with a different currency, with
Yes.
love, with appreciation, with when this woman was looking to my eyes and they tell me, Harry and Lily, when we went there, thank you so much for we learned a lot, and they were telling me if it's true that if I think positive, my business is gonna grow, and if it's true, then I do this because um, there is a lot of I think in Peru everybody's an entrepreneur. Everybody goes out there and they selling something. They're selling candy. They selling this. It's the micro enterprise into a full extension when you're there. Everybody have a tiny small business, and again, if you can give them a little bit of guidance, they are entrepreneurs with a little bit of support. So sometimes it's not even money; it's just support with knowledge, creating that framework. They can actually grow, and this is a sense of fulfillment that there is no money that can pay. These people think that money is gonna make them happy. Uh, I can tell you that. So how do you feel when you make the first million? Did it make any difference to you?
Listen,
Yeah, for me, the accountant told me. I didn't even notice. Harry, by the way, I say, okay, you know what I mean? So at the beginning, you are,
yeah,
yeah, gonna be. But once you are inside and once you have this purpose, I like this that they say, Roberto, once you find your purpose and you're purpose driven, the whole thing, it becomes
care of itself.
secondary. You want to help more people. So
Yeah.
tell us what the plan. Are you gonna write a book about it? Uh,
Well, no, listen,
you
I'm
should.
still helping people out. Like
I
I'm
know.
writing the
I
book
can
once it's
tell.
over.
I
So
can tell. I can tell.
my mission is still ongoing. I'm never going to stop this until God tells me it's time to move a different direction. But for now, you're right. It's never so really important notion here. Money is just a retainer of value. What do we value? And how do we use that money to represent our values as a community, as an entrepreneur, as a community leader? And so to me, the more money I make, the more I could help out my entrepreneurial community, the more I could get them to get online, the more I could go with you to Peru to help these women out because we know we can work with them and micro lenders and banks, and they're going to pay back the loans. So let's create a program around there. Let's get them online. Let's get them on Amazon. Let's get them on Mercado Libre so that they could sell their amazing product. Let's get them on TikTok. Could you imagine that world where anyone
Mhm.
that has a dream and a vision can create the life that they want? Why can't we do that? And so for me, when I hit that number, I realized I could, you know, have a scarce mentality, hoard it,
Mm.
or I could say, no, let's take that money, let's double it, let's triple it by helping more and more people. And that's the beauty of what we have now. This platform of podcasting, of YouTubing, of creating content is scalable. You could reach millions of people
Mhm.
just by this video alone. So let's get as much information to our entrepreneurs, aspiring startups, so they could know they're not alone in this journey. We have people that are going to champion you. We have people that are going to help you create the wealth and the impact that you want in your city, in your county, in your family.
So Roberto, if someone is in love with your conversation, they are inspired and they want to know more about you and about your amazing agency. How can they find you? How this process work?
Yeah, happy to talk about that. You could email me directly at Robert or Roberto. I have two emails just because sometimes I go to Colombia, I go to Brazil, I go to so it's Roberto at bravenagency.com. That's BRAVENAGENCY.com. You could find me on LinkedIn, Roberto Martinez. I am also a Grow with Google Coach. You could put Roberto Martinez, Grow with Google Coach, I'll pop up. You can go to our website, www.bravenagency.com. And for your listeners, we have an amazing new solution where we'll provide you a free report of how to grow your business using digital
Wow.
marketing. So
Wow.
if you're interested in that, shoot me an email. I'll give you that free report cost. I don't want to tell you how much we charge corporations for this because the corporations, they have the money, but for your audience, we'll give it to them for free.
Thank you so much, Roberto. That has been fantastic. And for all of you following this broadcast, remember the main message today from Roberto. Yeah, is you can make money and do good at the same time. Yeah, so we have to be conscious entrepreneurs. You know, Lily, my partner, have a movement with Mary Diamond from the movie Ziegler called Global Conscious Entrepreneur. So it's not only about growing your business, it's about what impact can you make for that community around you. How can you empower
Yes.
others? Yeah, to grow the business, to have like I said, a better life because again, we don't want to see entrepreneurs suffering or entrepreneurs stuck in this tiny business. We want to see all the entrepreneurs to thrive, to be healthy, happy, wealthy, to and to have the wonderful life that they deserve because they took we take more responsibility than anybody or anyone out there, and we deserve to have an amazing life and to help the community and to make the world a better place. So thank you so much. And for all of you following the broadcast, you know what? Next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like Roberto break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.